and meet him. So finally she went and met this Indra who was hiding in the lotus stem, and she told him, look, if you don't come, this new Indra, this Nahusha Indra is going to make me his wife. Please come and rescue me. But this Indra said, her husband said, I cannot come. I have not yet finished my penance. Now you go and ask Brihaspati, who is the Deva Guru. Brihaspati is the Guru of all the Devas, right? So this in the Shachi's wife Indra said, you go and ask the Guru. I'm sure he will show you a way. Right now, I don't have any powers. I'm still gathering I'm still doing my, repentance, and I have to do penance and I get back my powers. In the meanwhile, go and ask Brihaspati. He's going to help you. So Brihaspati, as you all know, is the Guru of the Devas. And who is the Guru of the Rakshasas? It is Shukracharya, isn't it? But now we are talking of Brihaspati, who is the Guru of the Devas. So Shachi, she went to Brihaspati Acharya and fell at his feet and begged him, please rescue me from the clutches of this Nahusha Indra. Please help me. So Brihaspati said, yes, of course, I'm going to help you, my child. And he gave her a nice plan. Okay. He said, he is so arrogant. This Nahusha has become very arrogant, no? We will see that his arrogance itself is it kills him also. So he gave her a plan. And this Shachi Devi listened to Brihaspati's plan. And she went back to this Nahusha Indra and told him, my dear Lord, the Lord of Heavens, Indradeva, I agree with you. Now that you are the Lord of Heaven, I also should be your wife. I should belong to you. But I want to see you in more glorious conditions, Only if you come to me in a palanquin, which is borne by the sages, by the Sapta Rishis and the Brahma Rishis, I'll be very happy and I'll become your queen. You know what she's saying? She's saying, I want you to come to me, come to my palace in a palanquin. Palanquin means a ratha, a doli. You have to come in on a palanquin, which is carried by rishis. The rishis, the Sapta Rishis, the sages, the Brahma Rishis, who are the firstborns, they are all Manasa Putras of the creator Brahma himself. Everything came, they came first, and then the universe came. And they are the most, even the Devas revere the Sapta Rishis. They are to be revered. They're as good as gods. They're as good as Vishnu and Shiva and all those people. But then Shachi, here listening to Brihaspati's clever plan, she put that idea into this Nahusha's head. You ask the Sapta Rishis to carry your palanquin, then I'll become your queen. This Nahusha was in his own, mood of, he said, I am the king of everything. So he didn't even think that didn't even strike him that it was a horrible suggestion and he could never do such things to the Sapta. It is like asking your the most your gurus to carry you, your grandparents or, people who have always held in esteem to carry you, that like a servant. So Nahusha was so drunk with power, he said, okay, I will do that. And he commanded the Sapta Rishis, come here. From today onwards, you are going to carry my palanquin. So what to do? The Sapta Rishis, he was the king, he was a Devendra, they had to listen to him. So they carried the Nahusha on their shoulders and they used to go. Every day, different people, different Brahma Rishis used to come and carry him. One day, what happened? He commanded this Agastya. Agastya had somehow escaped. One of this day, he had not carried this Nahusha. Then one day he commanded Agastya, what are you doing? It is also your duty. Come and carry me. So, okay, Agastya also came and he gave his shoulder to the, palanquin. But remember, Agastya was a very short sage. So, well, all of them were kind of equal size. Nahusha was kind of short. So when he was walking, there was always, up and down. The palanquin was going up and down because it was uneven. It was not a smooth ride for Nahusha that day. So you know what he said, Nahusha? He got very angry. He said, Agastya, what are you doing? Sarpa, faster. Sarpa in Sanskrit it has two meanings. One meaning of sarpa is faster, come on, go fast. Sarpa, sarpa, go fast, go fast. And then another meaning of sarpa, of course, is serpent. Okay. So when Nahusha said, looking at Agastya, he said, sarpa, sarpa, walk fast. You're delaying me, you're delaying, you're not carrying me properly, sarpa. Then, and he actually kicked Agastya also with his foot. He kicked Agastya also. When Nahusha kicked Agastya, Agastya was furious, naturally. And he was a sage of great, enormous tapas and power. And he was a great siddha, isn't it? So you know what Agastya did? Immediately he cursed Nahusha. He said, you asked me to go fast and you said sarpa, may you fall from heaven and stay as a serpent on earth for 10,000 years. So immediately Agastya cursed Nahusha. In his great pride and his arrogance, Nahusha had kicked a sage like Agastya on his head. And so he was cursed by the sage. And so what happened? One moment he was the king of Devaloka. The next moment the curse made him fall down to earth as a serpent. Then he fell down as a python. The moment he started falling down, Nahusha immediately realized it was as if a screen lifted from the arrogance just went, and he recognized he had made such a huge blunder. He realized his folly and he prayed to Agastya, please, I know you have punished me for my arrogance, but tell me, how can I come out of this curse? You have to give me a solution also. I cannot stay there forever. So Agastya, after all, Nahusha had been a great king and he was he had done a lot of noble deeds, right? So Agastya said, okay, this 10,000 years of living as a serpent is enough of a punishment for this arrogant fellow. So he gave a solution. He said, that person who knows the relationship between the soul and the supreme being shall be able to answer the questions put by you, and he shall deliver you. Meaning, Agastya told Nahusha, when you're on earth and lying there as a serpent, you will come across a person who will be able to answer your questions. And you will have to ask whatever you want to ask him. And if he's able to answer your questions put by you, then he is the person who will deliver you. And that he is not an ordinary person. The person who can release Nahusha from the curse cannot be an ordinary person. He should know the relationship between the soul and the supreme being, meaning the Jivatma and the Paramatma, the ordinary person like us and God. He should know the relationship between me and God. That is what Agastya said. So that is how, we come back to Bheema, right? So that is how this Python, this Ajagara, told the story of his own story of how he became a Python to Bheema. And right enough, at that moment, Yudhishthira was getting worried in that ashram. Where has my brother gone? He was supposed to come home for lunch. He has not come. We told him to be early. We told him, Mother Kunti told him not to go into the forest, but he went. No, he has not come. So Yudhishthira, what he did, he told not Mother Kunti, of course, sorry, she was not there. Draupadi had told Bheema to, come home early, come back to the cottage early. So Yudhishthira made Arjuna stay in the cottage, take care of Draupadi and others. I'll go and look for Bheema. So he came across this python and Bheema being entrapped, and he saw, immediately he knew Yudhishthira was a very, very noble soul, right? Immediately when he saw this Bheema struggling with the python, he fell at the python's feet. He knew that this python was not an ordinary python. He was an angel who was cursed. So Yudhishthira did namaskar to the python and asked, what's happening? So again, this whole story was repeated for the sake of Yudhishthira. And so the python said, so Yudhishthira said, okay, fine, now that we know that you are our ancestors, please don't eat Bheema, because we are also doing a noble, we have the noble task of ridding the world of the Kauravas. You cannot capture my Bheema. He is the one who has to atone this. He had promised Draupadi that he's going to kill Dushyasana and all the Kauravas and all that. Please leave him. So Ajagara said, Nahusha said, no, I can't do that unless you answer my questions. If I'm satisfied with your answers, I can let Bheema go, and I'll also be happy you can release me from my curse. So this is when the Ajagaropakhyanam starts. Vyakhyana means a treatise, a talk, a discourse, Ajagara. This is the discourse given by Ajagara to Yudhishthira. This is the main part of the story. So now the conversation between the Python and Yudhishthira begins. Most difficult questions the Python is going to ask the Yudhishthira. Full PhD level questions. Okay. Who is a Brahmana? Main question. 10 marks question. Lengthy answer. Who is a Brahmana? So Yudhishthira prays to his gurus, prays to Krishna, and then he gives the answer. The man in whom there is truth, charity, patience, and unblemished character, and mercifulness, and tapas, and kindness, such a person is a Brahmana. See, these are the qualities of a Brahmana given by the scriptures, and which Yudhishthira is telling this Ajagara, this Python. So who is a Brahmana? It is not a person who is born in a Brahmana's house, in a Brahmana to Brahmana parents. It is a person who is truthful, who is very charitable, who has got lots of patience, and he has unblemished character, and he's merciful, and he has a lot of tapas power, and he's kind. Such a person is called a Brahmana, said Yudhishthira. So this Ajagara is not going to let him go with just one question, right? Cross-questioning will happen. So the Ajagara said, but these qualities may be present in a Shudra also, and may be absent in a Brahmana, meaning one who is born in the household of a Shudra, or what we call a lower caste household. Even he can have such qualities. And one who is supposed to be, born in a Brahmana's household, he might not have these qualities. Then what? Asked the Ajagara. So Yudhishthira says, if the above said qualities are present in a Shudra and not, then that Shudra is not a Shudra. He is not of a low caste at all. And if these qualities are not present in a Brahmana, then he is not a Brahmana. Then he is not of a high caste. Simple. Okay, the qualities of a Brahmana I've already told you. Whoever has that quality is called as a Brahmana. That is the straightforward answer given by Yudhishthira, meaning this is the answer given in the scriptures, in our scriptures. It is not about this caste. This caste system is a very misunderstood system. This is the actual meaning of a Brahmana and the actual meaning of a Shudra. A Shudra is one who is untruthful, who is cruel, who is unkind, who is, all the other opposite qualities of a Brahmana. He's a Shudra. He can be anybody. And the other one is a Brahmana. So this is very, very important for all of us to know. Okay. When somebody, it's very common for society to say, oh, India has got a very horrible caste system and all that. But that is not the caste system Krishna was talking about, or the scriptures. Our scriptures are not talking about such a caste system. Okay, they have given very clear instructions of who is a Brahmana or who is a Shudra. So now the Ajagara is continuing with these things. So Ajagara is saying, if these qualities decide who is a Brahmana or a Shudra, what is the point of having the Jati system? So it's a valid point the Ajagara is asking. So why do you call, just have to know Brahmana, Shudra, or why at all you have a Jati system? Okay, why do you have a system based on birth of a person? The Ajagara is asking. So this Yudhishthira says, Swayambhu Manu has clarified that if the Jati of a person is in doubt, he should be regarded as a Shudra if he is not well versed in the Vedas and is not of good conduct. Meaning, suppose you come across, we have a person who does not know in which household or who his parents were or what his jati is, the birth jati is, then simply consider that person as a Shudra until you come to know that he is well versed in the Vedas. That is the formula given by Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu is the very first Manu. See, our Indian cosmology is very, very, very fantastic. It is so fantastic that it is not just AD, BC that we are used to now, before Christ, after Christ. That is the only calendar we know. But our Indian Hindu cosmology has got a timeline which is huge, which is vast, which is called the Brahma. The lifetime of a Brahma is 100 years, and 1 year of Brahma is called a Kalpa. And a Kalpa has got 71 Manvantaras. I mean, it's very difficult to explain these or even imagine these huge 14 Manvantaras. And ours is called the Vaivasvata Manvantara. What we are all right now here is called the Vaivasvata Manvantara. So that means the head of this Manvantara, this section of time in Brahma's life is called Vaivasvata. So similarly, there was one Manu in one Manvantara whose name was Swayambhu. Swayambhu means he was the very first Manu who came from Brahma himself. That is, by himself he was born. Swayambhu. He manifested by himself. So that Manu, that means at the beginning of creation itself, all these truths were given to us by our gods or the creators of the universe, or our scriptures or our rishis had given these formulas of what is the Shudra, what is the Brahman and all that. So that's why Swayambhu Manu had said that if you do not know, suppose like if you don't have your Aadhaar card, okay, I will consider you, I'll put you in this line, like that. So if you don't know your jati, that means you're a Shudra. You have to prove that you know the Vedas and all that, then we'll put you into the Brahmana. So this was the answer given by Yudhishthira. Then Ajagara was very, very, very happy with all these answers, but still he was going, see all these answers, we are right now, we are very, very small digest, we are understanding, but this was a huge treatise which was full of complicated details, okay? We are not going into it right now. And the next question asked by Ajagara was, what is it to be known? That means, what should one learn as when you're born as a human being? What is the most important thing that you should learn? So Yudhishthira said, the thing to be known is Brahman, the Supreme Self. What is Brahman? It is beyond joy and sorrow. Brahman is only bliss. So again, this is in 2 sentences, we are trying to tell what Yudhishthira explained to this answer. The main thing is, as when you are born as a human being, you have to know Brahman. You have to know your own self. That is the answer. That means, should I not know other things? Of course you should know. For your livelihood, we have to know, we have to go to school, we have to go to college, we have to study all the subjects, we have to get expertise in some profession, we have to do all that. But we have to add this also in our syllabus. We have to know what is Brahman and what is our real nature is called. What is your real nature? So please let us all remember this while we are learning all the things that the world has to teach us and what we are learning in schools and colleges. When we go to a Sadguru, the Sadguru will give us this highest knowledge of what is your real nature and what is the Supreme Self. Okay. So let us keep this in our mind. And when we are ready for it, we shall get this knowledge, right? The Sadguru is going to bless us with this knowledge. So again, huge answers Yudhishthira gives. And then Ajagara asks Yudhishthira, what is this Brahman? You are saying Brahman is beyond joy and sorrow. How can one exist without the other? Ajagara is saying, see, when there is joy, there is sorrow, right? When you eat one cookie, you are happy. When you eat 10 cookies, you'll get a tummy ache, and the same cookie will give you sadness also, isn't it? So the whole world is like that. It is a world of opposites, happiness and sorrow. They come together. And there is death and there is birth. And there is youth and there is old age. You cannot escape one from the other, isn't it? So Ajagara is asking a trick question to Yudhishthira here. How can one exist without the other? How can Brahman know only bliss? He's saying when there is joy, if Brahman is only bliss, then there should be opposite also should be there. So for this, Yudhishthira says, now Yudhishthira gives a very clever answer. He said, look, heat, for example, fire, it has only one quality, which is fire. It doesn't know the fire doesn't know what it is to be cold, isn't it? Or the sun doesn't know what it is to be dark. And the cold has the quality of cold. Ice is always cold. So it was a very clever answer that Yudhishthira gave. He said, similarly, Brahman knows only bliss. So these are the kind of huge conversations that happened between Ajagara and Yudhishthira, which we are just skimming through the main points here. And at the end of it, Ajagara was very, very happy. And then Yudhishthira says, you are such a learned person. Now it is my chance to learn from you. And Yudhishthira also starts questioning Ajagara little things. He says, oh learned one, tell me what one should do to attain heaven, attain self-realization. So he says, the Python says, one who bestows alms to the deserving, alms means, offers food and shelter to the deserving, and speaks kind words and truth and does not harm any creature, he goes to heaven. So Ajagara is generally giving how to behave, how to be a good human being. Again, this is a very small answer, but he gave a huge list of things to be done, how to speak, how to behave, all the things to do, the path of dharma, the Ajagara gives Yudhishthira here. Then Yudhishthira asks one more question. How does the spirit take a form? Tell me about rebirth. All of us want to know. What is it? How do we get reborn? What happens when a person dies and how he's going to be reborn and all that? Again, a huge question which merits a huge answer, but to be very short, the Python says, by his own acts, man can be born on earth, or he can go to heaven, or he can go to a lower life form. He said, when you are born on earth, you have a chance to do good actions and go to heaven. Or when you do bad actions and you have some bad karma, you can even be born as a lower life form. So when we are on earth, it is very, very important to have the guidance of a guru and see that we make use of this lifetime to go to higher and higher lokas. Okay, that is what, like Nahusha, even after you attain heaven, you can fall down on earth if you don't have enough. If you don't have the guidance of a guru, you can always be consumed. That is the next question. Wait, that's the next question. So Yudhishthira asked Nahusha, so you are so learned. So how could you have become a victim of, this pride? You know so many things. You have answered my question so well. And you are such a learned person. How did you become the victim of pride? Asked Yudhishthira. So the Ajagara said, prosperity intoxicates even the wise, and those who live in luxury, they lose their reason. This is the main message of this story. It is very, very, when we are comfortable in life, when we have no problems in life, when we take everything for granted, when we take our when we take our parents, our wealth for granted, when we take our studies for granted, or intelligence for granted, our teachers for granted, when we take all the good things for granted, we will forget how fortunate we are. We forget to thank our good fortune, right? And when we forget to thank our good fortune, we start treating them as if, they are nothing. It's okay. It's fine. You start throwing money. You start ignoring, people who taught you or who are to be revered. You don't show them the respect that they deserve. We start doing such things. It's very, very easy to become arrogant. When everything is provided for us, it is very easy to become arrogant. That is what happened to Nahusha, right? In heaven, he had everything was there for him in heaven. That is why his brain had become very dull and he was intoxicated with pride. That is why when we are born as humans, we have to have, it is not, nobody is saying that it is bad to have a good life with all the good things that comes to us. No, it is very, very important to have a good life. Only then we'll be comfortable enough to think of the higher truths of life. So when we have all these good things, we have to go to the Guru and make our mind very sattvic. We have to make our mind very mellow, very soft. We have to fill it with thoughts of, with noble thoughts, and which is the qualification for getting the supreme knowledge of the Brahman, isn't it? So that is what the main message of the story is. Let us not take anything for granted. Let us not take our status in life for granted. Let us always remember the good fortune we have. Let us thank God. Let us thank our gurus. Let us thank the universe. If you don't believe in God or a guru, let us thank the universe for every little thing that we have. No? Water, air, fire. We didn't ask for any of it, but it is still given to us. The sun, the water, the air we breathe, the ground we walk on, everything has been given to us. And our duty as human beings on earth is to give our gratitude for all this. Whenever we remember, whenever we start taking things for granted, we have to come back. We have to come back and realize and not fall from that grace like Nahusha and become a python and lie there for 10,000 years with no salvation, right? So this is the story of the Ajagara Upakhyanam. And so this is wonderful stories given by Vedavyasa to us in the Mahabharata. We have to be really, really grateful to this great sage. How many things Vedavyasa has given us. He has given us the Vedas. He has codified the Vedas into the four Vedas. Then he has given us the Puranas, 18 Puranas he has given us in everything, and he has given us the Mahabharata, and everything is full of wisdom. What all we need, he's given us the Bhagavad Gita also as part of the Mahabharata. So let us offer our prayers to Vyasa Muni. Veda Vyasa is called as what? Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Shakte Pautram Akalmasham. Akalmasham means he is blemishless. Vyasa was without blemish. He was the Vasishta's great grandson, sage Vasishta's great grandson, and Parashara's his father was Parashara, and his son was Shuka Maharshi. Such a huge, beautiful lineage of Vyasa, Veda Vyasa, and he has given this beautiful knowledge through all these stories in the Mahabharata. So we shall offer our respects to Veda Vyasa. And now is question time. You have any questions or you want to share something? Let us see, yes, Namit, tell me.
Ma'am, when Rama did Ashwamedha Yaga, so did he also become Indra?
See, there are so many Manvantaras, no? There are 14 Manvantaras, and so every Manvantara will have one Indra. So temporarily, some people are given that post also, like Prahalada was given the post of Indra for some time. And it is said that Hanuman also, because he was such a Rama Bhakta, he was also given he will be given the post of Indra. But Rama was God himself. No, he will go back to Vaikunta. Why will he settle for Indraloka? No? Yeah.
Ma'am, then he was a god, right? Then why did he do this Ashwamedha Yaga? He's beyond this Ashwamedha Yaga, right?
But he had to play the role of a Raja, no? When he came, when you are playing a role, you have to do everything that the role demands, no?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, did he know he is playing the role of a human, or he was just playing it?
he knew when his guru Vasishta gave him the knowledge. You know, Rama was also very upset with all the happenings of his in his life. You know, when Sita was, when he had to kill Ravana, or when Sita was abducted and all that, he was also very disturbed. So his guru Vasishta, he gave him the knowledge. That is why a guru is very important. Guru Vasishta tells Rama, remember, you are not an ordinary human being. You are Vishnu himself. Vasishta tells him.
Ma'am, but Rama is God himself, right? Then why didn't he know I'm Vishnu?
That is what, when you fall from, when you come down to earth, sometimes you pretend you don't know also. Okay?
Okay.
Because you have to play your role properly. You can pretend, and also all that God does, everything that God does is for the benefit of all of us. We have to learn. We have to learn how to behave, how to go to the guru, how to respect the guru. All that we have to learn from. They act as an example. That is why. That is why they do things for our benefit.
Okay.
What, Harsh? What did you learn from the story, Harsh? Did you learn anything, Harsh, from this story? Anybody wants to say something? What did you like in the story?
Ma'am, I have one doubt, ma'am.
Tell.
Ma'am, was Agastya not a Brahmana?
Who? Agastya?
Ma'am, Agastya.
See, what was the definition of a Brahmana
Yes,
given?
ma'am, because he was short-tempered.
Short. See, what was the definition of a Brahmana we learned here? One who is well versed in the Vedas, and one who has got a lot of tapas, power of tapas, and one who is of good conduct. He is a Brahmana. So Agastya had all that. No, it's the Brahmana.
Ma'am, but he didn't have so much patience. Ma'am, it's very short-tempered, no?
No. See, patience you have to display when it is needed. You have to display impatience when it is needed to teach people. See, won't your teacher scold you when you are not behaving well or not doing your work properly? She has to scold you, no? Like that. Your parents have to become, pretend to be angry with you just to make you listen, isn't it? So like that, all the sages and all, they do such things just to bring people on the right path. Okay? It does not reflect on their character. It is because it's needed at that point of time, they do it. Okay? So shall we close for the day with a prayer? Anything else? Namit?
No, ma'am. I don't.
Okay. So what's the prayer? First Asatoma, and then Purnamadah Purnamidam also will chant. Okay? Asatoma Sadgamaya
Tamaso
Jyotirgamaya Yormam Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Krishnarpanamastu.